Toss it outside left. Jameer down to the 10. Jameer to the 5. Jameer to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
And off Barry. Skirts to the left side. Breaks the tackle. And he will take it in. Touchdown!
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. It is caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, baby, what a play that time. Aiden Hutchins. And blew it up. Big time stand by that defense.
All right, I'm going to have to mute Brent.
Can you guys hear me though?
Hang on a sec, Brent. We're live. Let me
Cozy and warm, okay?
mute you here. All right, yeah. Thanks, Brent. Mute yourself. Hey, Running with Scissors, we're live. This is what we do on the live pregame, and we've got a special one ahead for this. It is Lions v. Cowboys live at Ford Field. And the sexy gentleman to the right on your screen, my man DK, Dan Keener, joining me for the live pregame. Dan, I know, man, there's a lot at stake tonight for this game. I think there's a lot of nerves. We just got the inactives in. We're going to cover that off, and we've got DBC in the house. But
literally.
He's joining us, literally in the house, and he's joining us live from Ford Field. That's why you heard all the noise, because the fans are there already. I'm Dan. First, before I start rolling and showing people the news of who's warming up and who's active and who's inactive, how are we feeling about tonight, man?
Well, I'm feeling good. You guys are a bunch of losers because you picked the Cowboys to win. I'm probably going to be the one with egg in my face, but I'm the one that's actually thinking the Lions can pull this out. You know, but hey, we've never lost, or we haven't lost a second game, back-to-back games since what 2024 or 2 or something like that.
2022.
It's been a while.
Yep.
And we lost last week, so we're back home. This isn't going to be a cupcake. This isn't going to be a cakewalk by any means. They got two really good wide receivers. They have a very stout interior D line.
Yeah.
They run a 5-2 with 3 really decent defensive tackles, or at least 2 that are pretty decent against the run. They do get pressure. But hey, you know what? We still have Jahmyr Gibbs. It looks like we are going to have St. Brown. He was not on the inactive list. He looked good out there running around. Hey, I personally banking on the defense improving substantially from last week. Last week there was absolutely no practice. It was all walkthroughs. Like, we didn't have any practice. We went from Sunday to Thursday, and they went walkthrough. And we also got back guys into our secondary, and we're moving them around. Terrion was back last week, so he was taking snaps or walk-ons, whichever. But this week we've had a full week of practice. Everybody's in the position in that defensive backfield they're going to play this week, except for the day when Kirby was testing his knee. I'm feeling a little more optimistic right now than I was maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah, and there's a shot of the sun god running around and warming up. Looks decent. We got a video from DBC of him walking into the tunnel, and lots of cheers as well. He doesn't look like there's any hitch in his giddy up. It looks like he's and we know he's a dog. We know he's gonna give it his all, and so. I mean, even if he isn't 100%, you got to feel like just him being on the field, even at 85%, is going to be something. Him as a leader, there's a lot. So and speaking of a lot, Dan, there's a lot at stake tonight. And I wanted to put this stat up here, and this is per CBS Sportsline. And that is the odds, the playoff chances if one team wins and the other loses tonight. So if the Lions win, our odds go from 52% down to 19% if we lose tonight.
Yeah.
Whereas the Cowboys, they're currently at 42% if they win. And if they lose, they're down to 10%. So this is the stakes are extremely high. It's one of those games where it's going to feel like a playoff game, and so I think that's why we have St. Brown, in. So we'll do the inactives, Dan, and then we'll roll it over and pull in DBC. While I pull up the graphic for the inactives really quickly, if you want to roll, if you could with
sure
their
thing.
inactives.
So for
Thank you.
us, Raymond, Joseph, those guys were expected to be out. Awasika was mentioned as being out earlier today. That's a bit of a blow because he has been the guy starting in place of Mahogany. But we'll have Cologne coming in probably at left guard, Graham at center, Glasgow at center. I've seen some people say they may switch. We'll see during pregame warmup. But Glasgow hasn't played any left guard all year, and Cologne has at least filled in there at least once, maybe twice. So I think it'll be Decker, Cologne, Glasgow, Ratledge, and Sewell. And then, Mekai Wingo, he's been healthy scratch most of the year. Hayden Rucci, the tight end we signed, we grabbed on waivers.
Yeah.
That's not unexpected. But really, there was one that caught my eye. Tyler Lacey. He had moved ahead of AQM
right
as the primary, and he had been starting about the last 3 weeks. Well, you heard Shep say he was going to make changes to the alignment and to the personnel. Well, it looks like Lacey got the Ziggy, and AQM is backing up Davenport, and I suspect Davenport's going to start.
So you got. I mean, with Davenport healthy, that's there's going to be some shifting. I don't know what he saw or didn't see out of Tyler Lacey. And what he did see out of AQM, who has seemed invisible for a number of weeks so far. We'll see. I mean, to your point, this could be some shuffling. This could be some scheming, and hopefully some good scheming. All right, so let's roll. Let's roll
real quick.
Before
you go on, I got the Cowboys and actives too. There is a big one on there.
Okay.
Jadavian Clowney is not active. His hamstring did not respond in warm-up, so he is down along with Tyler Guyton. And then, of course, they did not activate their cornerback, who is, let me see, who's that guy? Trevon Diggs. They did not activate him this week. He was coming back. So those are – Malik Hooker was the only other guy that was questionable, and he is actually active. So so they do have a safety back, but they do lose their left tackle.
Got it. All right. Let's roll over to you, Brent. I don't know. It looks like you've had a few. It looks like you're happy to be inside where it's warm. Brent, you can go ahead and unmute, and hopefully we're hearing some announcing or something there.
Yeah, hopefully it's not overwhelming for you guys.
It sounds like you're interviewing the announcer.
Well, the good news is, as you guys alluded to, Amon Ra was out running routes. Tesla was running some deep routes here right in front of us. Caught a few deep balls.
Yeah, I think Brent, if we're going to be able to hear you, we're probably going to need you to have your mouth closer to the mic, or maybe wait where there isn't announcements. Yeah.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah, a little better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line is that there was a whole lot of serious looking faces on the Lions side. They weren't as loosey-goosey as they are most weeks here live at Ford Field. And so I think there's a real understanding and a focus tonight that this game is as critical as you guys were talking about, in terms of, if you win, you got a chance. If you don't win, you go from 50% to almost 1 in 4 chance. And you got to hope that Green Bay sweeps Chicago, because our conference record is the worst amongst all the teams in competition for these final positions. So tonight, big game for the Detroit Lions at home. I was watching ESPN earlier, and there's a lot of folks that are picking the Lions to lay wood tonight, just to absolutely come out and beat those Incredibles.
Yeah, so DBC, when you were watching Amon Ra warm up, we saw some video from some of the beat writers that were on the sidelines. I mean, you watched him warm up. It didn't look like he had a hitch in his giddy up at all. It looked like he was just fine. Did you see anything different, or did you feel like Okay.
His face, like I said, when we were talking, when I was talking earlier about the serious look of the players, he was very focused. The look on his face was quite stern looking. I'll describe it as.
Yeah.
And he, I think he's fighting through some pain. And he probably maybe took a shot or certainly some painkillers to dull the ache of what's happened. We've all had a sprained ankle. It's not pleasant to deal with early days. And what we have to hope is that he doesn't take a bang on that ankle early, because it's almost like it just happened for the first time. But he's moving well. He's got a very focused demeanor about it and a focused look. And I just had Jerry Rice walk right in front of us here.
Well, get him on the mic, man. Come on, tell him it's the Gray Mains, buddy. You're the number one. Besides being the chief intelligence officer of Lions Optimism, you're the number one street team member, promoter of Lions Gray Mains. How many stickers have you handed out tonight?
A lot, guys. We're gonna start seeing those things at every restaurant around here, stuck on the walls.
They're gonna think you're dealing weed or something down there, man.
Exactly. Like, do you lick the other side of the sticker? Is that how that is? Well, are you seeing Brent? How about are you seeing Cowboys? Are you seeing Cowboys fans? I know it's still a little bit early. We see some empty seats, so people aren't filing in just yet. Maybe they're out the Roar and More store or whatever. But I know the Cowboys travel very well.
Yeah, there's quite a few Cowboys fans speckled in here, and I think just like right here in front of me. Look.
Yeah. Quick, take him out! Take him out!
He's in the wrong seat. He's trying to get a glimpse of his hero, Dak.
Yeah. He definitely doesn't know what he's doing. No, but
kick that son of a gun out.
Brent, you're frozen a little bit, but we do still hear you. Duncan Stewart, clearly Dr. Duncan Stewart says has given us a prescription for Amon-Ra St. Brown's ankle. Apparently, this looks like he's talking about numbing it down with prednisone or Nembutal. I think that's how I say it. Those are words. Those are big boy words that I just listen. If it's more than 3 syllables, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble, guys. So I apologize for that. But looks like we lost our Brent signal and he's gone to mute. Dan, I think I'm trying to stay as optimistic as I can. But we do have a team that's incredibly hot, going against a team that we've been streaky. We're up, we're down, we're up or down. And even those games that we have been winning, there's stuff that we have to clean up, and now we're playing a good team. And it's been since Tampa, since we've really kind of, beaten a team, at this level. So I'm trying to stay as optimistic as I can. Give me a reason for optimism at this point. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously, amazing talent, but running behind that line. Should I not be worried about the offense as much as I'm worried about the defense and that pass rush?
This 5-2 is interesting. We're going to have backups interior. Well, Graham's back, but the biggest issue with these guys is they're all kind of nicked up, right?
Yeah. Even
the guys that are in there are hurting. But something caught my eye a little bit ago. I'm like, that's a thing for optimism. And there's a difference between being confident and being cocky. And when Dak was walking the field earlier, maybe about an hour and a half ago, he said, he was asked by Jane Slater, who's she's a Dallas Cowboys, I think Morning News covers them, how he's feeling, and he said, "We lit them up the last time we were here. We're about to do it again." Yep. That's cockiness. That's not confidence. So if they think they're going to come into our house, start that crap, think they're the tough guy, maybe they're going to play hard. I'm sure they will, but don't come in cocky in here. Just because we're a wounded animal, that's not the time to go and start trying to make crap with them. That's when they're most dangerous. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
St. Brown's playing. They brought up the other kid, Malik Cunningham, not Cunningham.
Yeah, Malik Cunningham, the linebacker.
It is Cunningham. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. So we got Zach Cunningham and Malik Cunningham. Interesting. So they brought him up. He's more of the slot guy. They left Meeks down. So, they clearly he was not inactive. So they're hedging their bets just in case something happens to St. Brown because we don't have Khalif. So, most of our receivers now are they're taller right now. And you got Kennedy, the dude is just a warrior. He's a poor man's St. Brown, always has been. Which that's not a negative. I mean, that's a good thing.
I mean, he showed up last
but you've
week.
got,
he
but
really
you got
did.
Giammo, you got Tesla, and you got Cunningham on the outside. So, who's the other guy we got? He's we brought him up a couple weeks ago.
Meeks?
But no, not Meeks. It's wow, I'm feeling really silly that I'm not prepared for this. It's the guy wide receiver we called up from the practice squad a few weeks ago.
I thought it was Meeks that we brought up.
No, it's the other guy we drafted.
Lovett.
Lovett, yeah. So Lovett's out there, and Lovett's not small, but he's not 6'4" either, So they've got a nice blend of wide receivers to work with, but this tight end thing is a problem.
Yeah.
We've got blockers basically in Fursker and in the other guy that are primarily blocking tight ends. They can catch it, but they're not explosive.
Dwelly.
So yeah. I think we're going to see a mix of heavy personnel, and then when we go to pass, we're going to pass because Dallas they don't really blitz. They rely on this 5-2. They run a lot of just 5-man front, and they rely on that interior guys to get the pressure. And that might be a problem for us, but maybe it's not. Maybe we've got a game plan to get the ball out quick. So we'll see. Their defensive backs aren't the greatest. They make our guys look like all-stars.
Yeah, I feel like if we're looking at like Cowboys offense versus our defense, and we're looking at our offense versus their it just feels like this has just got the makings for such a shootout. I don't know what the over-under is, but I mean, I feel like we're absolutely going to have to just outdo it. Which calls into question, Dan, are we going to learn, or I shouldn't say we, is our coach going to learn to not go for it so much on fourth? Is it because because it's a shootout, because we need to possess the ball so much, and because, I mean, is Dan going to stop throwing the dice and going for it so much on fourth down tonight, or are we going to put Jack Fox back there with and go for it less and play a little bit more field position?
I think it's going to depend on the flow of the game. If Dallas is moving the ball up and down the field on us, he may feel the need that he has to try and steal one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're not, but then again, if they're not moving the ball on us, he also might feel the need. Well, hell, our defense is playing great. Why not go for it? It's between the 35s is where you probably actually from our 35 to their 45, where you're not sure, if he goes for it there and we don't get it, that's where it becomes kind of a negative play, right? Anything inside the 45, I mean, depends on the score. You don't want to chase points, but
right.
He's not going to change who he is. Again, I could tend outside of the fake punt, I haven't had any issues with any of the fourth down plays other than the actual plays that were called. There's just we don't have the creativity.
It's one thing for
year.
him to go for it so much. It's like if we're going to go for it, what's the play we're calling? Which so like the JMO, the pass that was behind JMO that was considered a drop. That was the right play call. It was just execution, right? And
execution.
So you can't blame Campbell on that. When your offensive linemen are blowing blocks, it's like, and we absolutely love it, man. When he makes it, and oh man, just let's get out the memes of him with the wheelbarrow and his nutsack in it, and that the whole thing. We absolutely love that. But then it's like you're gonna get that. So he's you're right. He's not going to change who he is. I think, the play calls have to be right based on the personnel now, because we don't have last year's offensive line or 2 years ago offensive line. And then tonight we're down to our third string left guard, and I wasn't happy with our second string left guard. So hello. And so I honestly, Glasgow's back at center, but I'm not like ringing the bell there either. So it's
as long as we don't run it right into Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark, as long as we don't run it right into the middle, like if we go between the guard center and the guard center, you better have a great blocking assignment coming across. And the one thing we will be able to get away with is we do a lot of having the tight ends come in and pick dudes off, right? Like they go in motion, they're supposed to clear.
And Skipper.
And and Skipper. So that's why I feel like we're going to see a lot more heavy personnel when we do this to counteract this 5-man D line. Their edges aren't known for getting a lot of pressure, especially with Clowney not in. He had probably his best game of the year and maybe in the last few years last week, but he's injured. So we're down to the guys they have. They're youngsters, and their linebacking core. Holy smokes. They've got one linebacker who is fairly productive, but he's a bigger guy, right? So Ken Murray, he's like 6'2", 6'3", but he's like 245, and he only runs like a high 4.5. So these other guys, they don't have a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of playing time. They're backups. One dude just got picked up off waivers a few weeks ago. So, our target running area is outside shoulder of the guards to the outside shoulder of the tackles. Or maybe we switch and do a little bit more zone blocking tonight and we just let Gibbs and Monty pick their hole,
Yeah.
But I think, with the 5-man front and 2 backers, that's 7 in the box. They are, from what I read, they're one of the highest amount of plays where they don't have a loaded box. Like they just use that front 7 and that's it. And a lot of times one of those ends or the linebacker end up bailing because they got to cover, they'll have to cover a tight end or a back or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, their weakness is our strength, which is, assuming our strength, but our weakness is also where their strength is, which is up the middle right now. So we'll see how it goes. We'll know after the first, probably halfway through the second quarter, we're going to know whether we're in for a, roller coaster ride. Todd Jones taking the mound in the ninth inning, with 2 outs
nice
and
baseball
3-run lead, right?
We're gonna roll it. It looks like DBC. We got a good shot of your nostrils. You might want to trim those nose hairs, my man.
Boy.
So I'm hearing that Bates was out there. I got a video of him on the sideline stretching. I was too afraid to put that on the broadcast because Bates on the sideline, sometimes it gets a little graphic. But how did he look out there in warmups?
He looked great, and I did find us a Cowboys fan to chat with here.
Okay,
and you guys are gonna be happy. It's Stephen A. Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Dallas Cowboy fan, Texas A&M grad, Stephen A. Smith. Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, you're the spitting image.
Yeah. I'm more opinionated than the other guy.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're in for a roller coaster. Are you a Cowboys fan, sir?
I am a Cowboys fan.
Oh, do you have a prediction for the game tonight?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. I think the Cowboys win a close one. But Dak's going to throw one pick, and I predict the Lions will be 2 of 3 on 4th down tonight.
2 of 3. Well, actually, that sounds pretty good to us because that's better than we have been.
That's better than they have been for sure.
Oh, great! So, did you travel? Did you travel to Detroit for the game, or are you?
I did. I live in Colorado, but I grew up in Texas.
Okay, excellent, excellent. How long you been a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Since I was about 7, and I'm 63 now. So.
Jeez,
fantastic!
Oh man, outstanding. So you've seen the good years.
Well, I saw a lot of good years, a lot of bad years.
Yeah.
Recently, more bad.
Do you travel to go to since you're based in Colorado? Do you travel to any of the games in Dallas or in Arlington there?
No, I've been to a couple games in Dallas, but it's been a few years. To be honest, since they fired Tom Landry unceremoniously, it's been tough.
Oh yeah. Since Tom Landry. Well, you've had some good years though with Johnson and some other coaches. But
yeah, that's true. That's true. I was unfortunately I was in the Air Force during those years, so
Oh,
traveling to
okay.
those games was a lot tougher.
Well, thank you for your service, and now we know why you know Brent.
Yeah, that's why. Absolutely.
You got the Air Force
Enjoy the
connection.
facilities.
That's right.
Enjoy the
that's
game.
right. All right.
Awesome,
guys.
great meeting you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to get Stephen A. Smith here at the pregame show.
Yeah, he doesn't sound anything like he does on ESPN for some reason.
He doesn't get as agitated. Though he can get agitated.
Yeah, he's just you must have some effect on him, I guess, Brent.
Better than the effect he has on me.
No, he's not. He doesn't get upset with me. I've just seen him getting upset. But look, the Lions must-win game. I absolutely, agree with the thought that if you had made better play calls, but if frogs had wings, they wouldn't bump their asses when they jumped.
You said
the
something
Lions-
about frogs and asses and jumping,
wings.
but
Well, that's just like the saying of, if, right? If we had called better plays, if I just think you gotta play field position, guys.
Yeah.
I do not think we have the luxury. You can talk about play design all you want, but the Lions going for it on fourth down in their territory, that's gonna be the end of our season if we do it consistently tonight. I don't care if they call triple Lindy out of the backfield. And have Rodney
Triple
Dangerfield
Lindy.
Jump off the top. Yeah, that's right.
fumble
So,
Rooski. I agree. I think making
80s movie reference.
I'm sorry, what reference?
Back to school.
Oh,
Rodney
back to
Dangerfield's
school.
dive
Okay.
and, back to school.
Triple Lindy, yep. I think making Dak go 80, 85 yards as opposed to, giving him the ball at midfield because we went for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah, 80 to 85 yards in multiple plays, not one pass. over the
Right,
top.
right, exactly. Should I poke the Bears here and start talking about whether or not our defense should be man or zone coverage?
Yeah, I mean, it's a worthy conversation because I think you posted an article earlier from ESPN that talked about that very subject.
Well, it was a video from Dan Orlovsky, the guy who ran 14 yards out of the back of the end zone. But love you, Dan.
He has migrated himself into the crappy take world over. He used to be great as an independent.
Oh, we've got a
He would
team.
sit there and just walk through it, but now he does definitely toes the corporate line a little more often.
Well, the point that I'm going to make is there seems to be a real momentum that people believe that the Lions just simply can't line up and play man-to-man against this receiving core, their tight end. Ferguson's a really, really good tight end.
Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, what's the reference, Chris? What's the reference, Turd Ferguson?
I don't know. You lost me on Turd Ferguson.
Go ahead. Tell him, Brent.
Go, Dan.
I just called him that ever since I saw him in college playing.
There was a movie, a comedy movie, Turd.
Yeah.
Oh, is it
Mike,
because of
you're
the
up. Look
college
that
that he
up.
played at? Is that what?
That's why I called him that. Did he play
Oh.
at like somebody Ohio State played because he was killing us one game and I was getting irritated.
Yeah,
Anchorman.
Thank you. That's right. I knew I heard
Anchorman,
his son.
Turd Ferguson. Got it.
I knew it. Anyway, so tonight's going to be. Let's hope the crowd comes loud. There's a lot of Cowboys fans. Still, it's going to be.
Brent, we're losing you. You gotta hold the phone closer to your mouth.
Yeah, the fans are piling in. There's a significant number of Cowboys fans, but
And
there's going to be probably 90+% Lions fans on the of it. This is not like the big house was last Saturday when Ohio State had a lot of fans there.
Yeah,
a
lot of red.
Streak. There's not a lot of Cowboys fans like that, but there are quite a few. So the fans should be really loud. We'll probably see 117 decibels during the play calls, which could
You always have the read on the decibel levels, you know.
That's because they put it up on the scoreboard every time.
Do you really think that that's an accurate thing? Do you think like maybe they can ride that? You know, I don't know.
Measurement devices are easier to come by than they were in the old days. Where the NFL had one and it rolled around to different places periodically.
So boys, I wanted
Mike's registering about 2 decibels right now.
I want to roll this because Mike Terry dropped something in the chat, and we put out some we put out a podcast the other night, and we also have put out some social content related to our team, and our team's coming off of a loss, and there's a lot of fans out there that are divided, and a lot of people pointing fingers at Brad Holmes and how he stood pat at the deadline, and everybody, talking about Dan Campbell going for it too much and costing us games, and the injuries, being a factor in, whether it's the training staff, because that's the reason for the injuries, I guess, which is like, I won't even go there.
Ridiculous.
But I think, the fans are divided. And so here we are going against, quote unquote, America's team. And, the one of the, if not the most popular teams right now in the world as it relates to the National Football League. Do you feel like if we win this game, it will assuage these fans and they'll feel better about things and we won't have so much dire? Or is it just are people bringing brown paper bags next week?
They're going to bitch no matter what.
Okay.
We have a subset. Every fan base has a subset of just assholes. I'm just going to say it. I don't care. Family friendly, doesn't matter. And those people, all they do, I don't care if it's Michigan, Ohio State, Detroit, Dallas, Philly, all they want to do is get online and play keyboard warrior and just make noise. And the more that their message, for lack of a better word, is being reinforced by the product on the field, the louder they get. So I've seen some of the dumbest shit posted over the last 3 weeks from people. Fire Brad Holmes. Oh my God, the training staff sucks. Well, they keep causing all these injuries. Bro, they're not playing the game. The guy got drilled on the field. Not a training staff issue, Yeah. And it's like, and these don't even have blue check marks. I mean, these people aren't even farming for engagement. There's some that are, but the bulk of them are just like, they're just miserable people. And frankly, I could do without them. And I'll say that, I don't care. I see it from the Bears fans, the Vikings fans, Packers fans, Eagles fans they're toxic, man. Those people are nuts.
Yeah.
We saw in Kansas City earlier. It's crazy.
Hey guys, here we're going up the Lions. Stand up.
Oh, there we go.
Are you peeping?
Let's
Love it stressed.
There's Cuddy M. Yeah, we have
receiver crew.
So let me jump in. Oh, sorry. Let me jump in.
Yeah,
in here.
good shot there,
because,
Brett.
It's right here under the Rocket Mortgage logo. So I'll put my arm underneath to show you guys. But that's why we're called the Gray Mains, and that's why we're here. We have been here since the 70s, and we will continue to be here pimping the Detroit Lions because we're lifelong Lions fans. So here comes Love It.
Did he just put a sticker on the tarp?
There they go. Guess we got wide receivers out.
Receiving core and Gibbs and Gibbs.
Gibbs out there with the receiving core. So
yeah, I don't see Monty with them.
That could be interesting. That Gibbs out there warming up with the receivers. There's a lot of talk about using Gibbs, in more of a receiving situation with Monty in the backfield.
I put him and Monty on the field at the same time. Monty in the backfield, Gibbs in the slot.
Yeah, I think that's it's an interesting thing. And then you're looking at the matchup, right? It's like, where's the linebacker going? Where's the safety going? Are we gonna move things around? You're
force
at
him to
home.
pull a linebacker off and bring a nickel in.
Yep.
Or another safety in, and then you run it.
Exactly. Create those mismatches. Looks like some Cowboys running onto the field there.
Dak Prescott and some of the linemen. But listen, how many times over the years have we seen teams expose linebackers because of their running backs and their ability to beat them man to man? Little out and ups.
Texas route tonight should be a
Texas
killer.
route. It's
Should run
absolutely.
it 3 times minimum.
So, get JMO to those deep patterns that were so successful the past couple of weeks. Amon-Ra on the crossing routes, which we know the Cowboys are vulnerable for.
Yeah.
And then get Gibbs when they're in man-to-man against the linebackers. With all the speed that we have and playmaking ability, it'd be really nice to have Laporta. Laporta would be a huge difference maker in a game like this, like he was last year, because of his ability to get out in open space. So, but that aside, the current players that we have with JMO, not Jamo, but JMO, and
girls, you're both pretty. Don't take shots. Don't take shots. Be nice.
I'm making fun of Mekhi.
He knows I love him. Yeah, he knows I love him. It's all good fun. But the key to this game is make the Cowboys have extended drives, stop the run, force them to throw the ball, mix up the coverages, let the crowd get into this game.
Yeah.
And then offensively, if you got the Cowboys spread out, and Dan, I love your idea that you talked about the other night on Tuesday's show. Get the defense spread out, and Monty will have 140 yards tonight, just like he always has had in situations like this where we run the spread.
As long as he runs right to the right side.
It's quick. You got to have quick hitters against this D line. None of this long developing crap.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the outside sweeps. I'm talking about the inside, between the tackle runs, where it takes a second and a half to get the ball into the running back's hands, and then he makes a move. By the time that takes place, if they beat one of our interior linemen, he's getting smoked in the backfield, right?
Yeah, if we're trying to pull Tristan Colon, out, to Wham or whatever, we're like, that's not where we want to be, right? We want.
I'll be interested to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, we want Mahogany in that spot. Like that's when you call that play, and so they've got to be smarter there and know what they've got, and the run plays and understand, like, okay, this is what we have. We've got Decker on one side. That's fine. He can help him out, but like for the most part, we can't ask too much. I think we asked too much of Coyote Awasika. And that's why we saw a lot of whiffs. And I just feel like at this point, if we got Tristan Colon, who we believe is going to be starting, or maybe Brent's savior, Frazier, coming in at left guard,
he might get some action.
We might see some. Depending on how Colon does, we might see Frazier tonight. I'm also thinking, guys, I want to roll this over to you. We're talking, a lot about the offense, but. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, it could be a little bit limited. Like I don't foresee him out there for 95% of the snaps, which means is Isaac TeSlaa going to be getting not just more snaps but more targets and
Kennedy.
And Kennedy. So Kennedy coming in
look at last week. All I do is look at Thanksgiving. That's the pecking order. And it's not because TeSlaa wasn't out there. It's because
Kennedy's getting open.
Kennedy, he gets open.
I think trust is a big part.
Progression hits, he's there. He's a veteran. He knows how to run the offense. Yep. And look, he's shifty as hell. I mean, he's like St. Brown. He's just a little shifty dude that he may not be the fastest guy. He may not be the biggest dude.
Whoa.
No, size-wise.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I'm like St. Brown too.
I mean, he's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but he will get open, and he's good at it, right? And he catches the ball.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you're saying. And you said it earlier. Poor man's St. Brown. Yeah,
poor man's St. Brown.
Capable, good hands, and to your point, trustworthy. And right now, TeSlaa is still a rookie. He's not you see it when they go to line up. You see Goff going, hey, he's moving him around. He's like, you're not in the right spot. And I mean, I think that plays into how he's distributing the ball. Like, you got to gain my trust and get open and make sure you're doing the right things out there. I think he's capable talent-wise, but he's got to get himself ready yet.
He caught 2 balls, 35 yards and a touchdown last week. So, it's not like he didn't come in and help. He produced Jamo's numbers when Jamo moved over to the number 1 wideout. Or the Khalif numbers. That's his role. He's Khalif's backup as wide receiver 3, right?
Brent wants to know who Jamo is.
He's who I say he is. Sit your ass down.
They are who we thought they were. Brent, you keep filming the Cowboys.
Jamo, yeah, that's all. The Lions come out after the Cowboys.
Okay.
Here, just the skill position players are out, but the reality is that Jamo needs to have a game like he had last week. We need to get him on Ross involved. All these skill position players are going to be critical because we're going to have to score points.
Yeah.
Unless our defense steps up big time, like they have at various points during the season, then I think it's going to be a shootout. And if we don't get all these players involved. By the way, St. Brown is right here.
Does he have his pads on? I can't even see.
He does. He's right in the middle there.
He's not inactive, so he's going to give it a go.
He's on the 15-yard line catching balls.
Okay, right on.
He might be on the Terry on, what they did with him last week, where they're trying to bring him in until he got injured again. Limit his snaps, like you said, about 35% of the plays, maybe. Or maybe he's good to go. Who knows? They just give him a cortisone shot into his knee, into his ankle, and wrap it up and call it a day. So
yeah, I think he goes as our offense goes. And that position kind of like it kind of feels like the offense is stalled at times, and then all of a sudden he finds Amon-Ra for a 7-yard first down. He finds Amon-Ra for a 13-yard crossing route, and all of a sudden the offense starts to move, right? And so maybe that's the move is bringing him in, and on third downs. Hopefully we're not getting to third and longs at any point. I think that's been a bugaboo for us a lot of times. So we need to stay on schedule or ahead of schedule, guys. If we're looking at a lot of 3rd and 8s, then I think that's when those guys are pinning ears back and they're you've got Quinnen Williams staring across at Tristan Colon. Oh, this is a good shot here that we've got players walking out of the tunnel. There's Demo.
Keep this in mind though. St. Brown didn't record a catch against Packers. Chris.
Yeah.
Didn't record a catch before he went down. We still had 352 net yards against a better defense than the Cowboys. Right? And Goff still threw for 256 and 2 touchdowns and completed 20 of 26. So, yes, St. Brown is dynamic and he is absolutely a key cog, but we showed that we could get by without him last week. And they pivoted. They went towards Williams. He had 7 balls he caught. Kennedy caught 4. Tesla caught 2. Gibbs 3. Monty 2.
Yep.
Even Fursker and Dwelly each caught 1. So it was more diverse, and that might not be a bad thing. It forces Goff to spread the ball around a little bit more instead of looking for that security blanket. Because honestly, with whatever's been bothering him with that wrist this year, he's cost us several drives and maybe even a game or two with costly drops that he just normally hasn't done in the past, and it's not his fault. The ball might have been a little hot, might have been a little behind him, but he also might have something going on with that wrist that we aren't even aware of, that could still be bothering him. So we got a pretty good bye. There's like a 10-day gap after this game. So whatever happens, everybody gets a chance to kind of get the mini break to heal back up. I think we'll be okay. The strength of the Cowboys is it's kind of their strength is their run defense. They don't have, they're like the Lions. They take a while to get there. If they get a pressure, they don't have a ton of sacks. Their DBs are not the greatest. This defense can be exploited. So as long as we can keep scoring with them and our defense gets some timely shutdowns and, 3 and outs or makes a play, I think we'll be okay. I 100% agree. It's going to be a shootout with our buddy Stephen A. Smith. I predicted the Lions are going to basically win it. I think I put 31-28. So that's kind of where I'm thinking we're going to be at, right above the over line. But we'll see. Who knows? We don't know what the mind says. And hell, one injury. Dak gets hurt. Forget it. Who's their backup? I don't even know. It's not the guy that's
It's not Cooper
Joe
Cush.
Milton. Joe Milton is their backup, and you guys are very familiar with Joe Milton.
Well, I mean,
he had a cup of tea in this.
He can
state
throw it
before
for
he went
90
and
yards
sucked
from his
ass down at
knees,
Tennessee.
Dan. He could throw it. He could throw it from 90 yards. Like sitting on his knees, he could throw it 90 yards. Now it could be like to the other team, but he could do that.
He's
I'm not
version
a Joe
of
Milton
the guy
fan.
we had from Tennessee.
I'm not a Joe Milton fan at all. DBC,
No.
we got some more tunnel shots here. We're seeing Rock. This must be the DBs here. The DBs from DBC live from Ford Field. These are we see DJ Reed. I see Brian Branch. So we're seeing all of our DBs there about to take the field. We brought up. I saw we brought up Nick Whiteside today. Is Whiteside active? Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, we need a game from Brian Branch. Brent, how are you doing out there, man? Can you hear us? Are you able to unmute yourself and kind of what's the vibes there from Ford Field? We're approaching game time.
I hear you guys just fine. Here come the DBs. We got Thomas, Reed, Branch, Maddox, Dorsey, Whiteside, Harper, and Robertson.
I see Mollett in the first row.
That's your boy. But you love Mollett.
Love that guy.
I think he ran a 4.940.
He's my whipping guy.
Yeah.
You got everybody out here warming up. So
Did you see Joe Milton in warm-ups? Did you see him throw it 90 yards from his knees, Brett?
I got to admit, I saw him in New England last year, and that's he played much better than I've ever seen him play, to be frank.
Well, when he played for Michigan, he every time he came in, it didn't matter if it was the third quarter or the fourth quarter, he would always throw a pick. It was
and that's why he transferred to Tennessee.
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Who did he replace at Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Oh, Hendon Hooker.
Oh,
Hendon Hooker.
Yes.
Yep.
Boy, we could talk about busts all day long on this show. You want to have an all busts show? Yeah, we could have let's talk about J.J. McCarthy versus Jamarcus Russell. Let's do almost like a Final Four bracket.
J.J. McCarthy.
Let's do a bracket who was worse, this quarterback or this quarterback? From a bust, like Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell.
I think we're in a good place with the secondary guys.
He's moving on.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we're in good place with the secondary.
Okay.
Good enough to play man-to-man?
Just looking at them running out in their underwear, you thought everything was cool?
And we look so well. No, we're more
they looked so good in their pants.
we might be missing Terrion Arnold, but it's suspect whether that's a good or bad thing, right?
That's a bad thing. Trust me.
Yeah, in terms of depth, I'm with you. But
and if you caught at the beginning, Brent, what I said is that everybody's had a full week of actual on-field practice in the position. That's important.
Absolutely. I was just kind of building on what you said there, Dan.
Yeah.
There's a line.
I got something I'm gonna throw out at the end, Chris.
You're gonna
just to throw a freaking. I have no insider info, but something we haven't seen in a while, but we've seen in the past. And with this team and their strength and our strength, I'm just going to throw it out there in a little bit just to kind of get you guys' reaction to it.
Oh, man, you can't do that. You can't set it up and then not say anything.
You want me to go now with it?
I don't know what it is, but I mean, what are you doing? I mean, go ahead. What do you got, man?
Well, we talked earlier about having both Gibbs and Monty on the field at the same time, right? Putting Gibbs in, Gibbs out in the slot and Monty in the back. Well, you know, you got Dwelly and you've got Fursker, and these guys are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're not massive, but you know, Dwelly's like, I think he's 240, 6'3", 240. Fursker's like a 250, and he's 6'2". There's some decent fullbacks, right? I mean, you could put them in there in short yardage to help clear a path, you know, against this 5-2, because somebody's got to go in there. I don't think they're going to put Skipper in at fullback, maybe Tyleek or somebody like that. But guess who's back and has played fullback for this team in the years past? And he doesn't even need to go over to the official and tell him that he's eligible, because he already has an
Number
eligible number.
44.
44.
That would be
Fullback
Rodrigo's.
extraordinaire, Swiss Army knife, Rodrigo.
Yeah, I mean, when the first game he was back, he made that tackle on special teams, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Now we're, you know, and he's he's got snap counts, but he hasn't really made plays necessarily, at least that are jumping out. So yeah, this feels like, you know, why not get Rodrigo going? You know, I mean, he's lined up at fullback. He's lined up at tight end. Certainly is capable of and has the confidence of the coaching staff.
And the key, I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's game strategy. When you're playing this team, that there are not very many teams that run a 5-2 anymore, right?
Yeah.
And these guys run it. So, you know, this is an opportunity to bring in, and you don't have to bring in a big heavy guy. You know, yeah, you can bring in, if we're short yardage, you know, sure, bring in Skipper as the extra tight end. Him and Fursker are the two biggest guys, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even Nice for that matter. But you need somebody to lead block. And if you bring in Monty and you bring in Rodrigo, you know, might as well try it. You know, hey, our season's on the brink, right? So might as well go for it. So, and he did have against the Giants. He didn't have any stats against the Packers, but against the Giants, he did have 2 tackles. So, but you know, he just came off of injured reserve or the PUP list, right? So he's still working his way back. Kind of that same point I was making about all the DBs and the confusion and all that. These guys have to work their way back. They just don't turn a switch and hit the field. I mean, even DJ Reed, they kind of held him up, even though he seemed good to go, and he played a ton of snaps out of necessity. But the plan was only to give him like 60% of the snaps that first game back. So, you know, these guys all have to work back in. Davenport last week, you know, that was his first game action in over a year.
Right.
So tonight, hopefully he's more comfortable. He actually had practice and not just walk through stuff. I mean, he's a vet. He doesn't need.
Yeah, he looked asleep last
he
game.
Knows
I'm
what
sorry.
he needs to do.
Yeah, he's gonna have to make plays. He
does.
He looked. He didn't look beyond rusty. He didn't look interested, which is.
He looks slow.
Yeah. And Donkey Kong 43. Listen, it's not mock draft time, not for this show. But if you want to give us who you think we should pick in the first round and where at all you think we're going to be, feel free to knock that. We're gonna talk about the draft when it's time to talk about the draft. But right now, we still have what's the percentage that we have? A 56% chance of making the playoffs. It's not time to talk about the mock draft. You know, and if we lose, we're at 21%, you know, and to making the playoffs. And you know what? I don't even think that's the time to talk about a mock draft, if I'm being honest. Now, do I think they're cooked if they lose tonight? Man, that oven's at 475, and you know, I'm looking at the timer for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so. But we're not talking about mock draft yet, not on this show. But you know, post-game mock draft, you're not going to find that on this show. But, you know, we're going to talk about a mock draft. We're going to talk about drafts. We love it. The man on the right side of your screen does that and has run a chat for Lions fans for many years. And so we'd love to talk about it when it's time to talk about it. But, you know, right now, it's not. You're going to pick the Cowboys in this game. We'll draft around 15. All right, Donkey Kong. This sounds like our fan base, doesn't it?
Not wrong. We're sitting at 17 right now before this game, and if we lose, we are going to fall potentially all the way down to 13th.
Yep.
So But if we win, then we're back into the wild card round. We're back on the inside, on inside looking out. Really, Dallas, they're right behind us. That unlike the Packers, where that half game, that tie is benefiting them substantially. Dallas is that's like a freaking albatross around their neck because they only have 6 wins. Even if they get to 7-5-1, they're still going to be in the outside looking in. Because Tampa's 7-5, and if they win, it's Detroit, Tampa, and Dallas and Carolina. Those are the 3 NFC teams fighting for the last wild card.
And we're
So,
getting we're getting some more game stuff here. We're getting posts from folks at Twitter, Richard Selva, Detroit Sports Podcast as well. Looks like Tristan Colon is going to be your starting left guard. That's who's who's in warmups. So Graham Glasgow at center. Tristan Colon at left guard, and of course the typical Taylor Decker at left tackle, Panay at right tackle, and Tate Ratledge at right guard. So,
and that makes sense. Graham's hasn't played anything but center all year. Cologne's played a little left guard, and with this crew here, you really need the guy that's calling the alignments and the protections. You need that to be Glasgow, regardless of how mediocre he has played this year. He's played exceptional in a few games. He's played like crap in a few games, but he's been consistent in the mid to low 60 grade most of the year, both run and pass, which isn't, it's not Frank. Nobody's Frank.
Yeah.
Maybe Kelsey was Frank, but he's been consistent. You know what you're going to get. So, but giving these guys, leaving Ratledge next to him, Decker, again, I think our tackles tonight, it'll be helpful that they're not facing Micah Parsons, Kayvon Thibodeau, or any of these crazy good edges that are floating around out there we've been facing the last 4 or 5 weeks, So it'll be good. And it's not going to be a cakewalk by any means, but it'll be nice to allow these guys to actually play the game. And, it'll be interesting. I just want to see how we attack this 5-2.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time I think we faced one all year. I guess the Ravens would have run kind of like the Pittsburgh 4-4-4-ish, 4 kind of 5-2. They run that hybrid where the outside linebacker is kind of the 5th D lineman, New England style. They morphed it from what
I guess I assumed they were
Kiffin
3-4.
used to run.
I assume both teams were 3-4, but it's more of like a hybrid.
They are 3-4, but they use that outside linebacker as like he's really a rush end. I mean, that's really all Parsons is. He is almost, and they had to retool. He does not fit the defense in Green Bay. They had to retool on the fly to make him fit from a pass rushing perspective, because Rashawn Gary was the guy, right? He was their heaviest pass rusher, and now you've got Parsons and him. Well, they've diminished Gary a little bit to enhance Parsons by switching to a different front. So I'll be interested to see how we handle these guys, because let's be honest, if you get through that front 5, you could be running for a long time if you're Gibbs.
Yeah, that's the key, though. We got to get through. You
got to create a lane. But hell, we saw it last week. I mean, look at its Packers. He hit 2 home runs, and that's while their interior D lineman's not that great because their best run stoppers playing tonight, they traded him away. It doesn't take much to get him a crease to go.
No.
And Monty, while he doesn't have the breakaway speed, Monty is as tough as they come. You might get an arm on him in a hole, he might drag you for 4 yards. So as long as anybody but Goff is trying to scramble or run the ball,
why did you even say it, Dan? Like, why did you even say?
I mean, I don't mind Goff. I don't mind Goff doing a quarterback sneak. He is a big dude, right? I mean, this isn't some waif out there playing quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
He's a big guy, and if you've got the gap, he's going to get you a first down if it's less than a yard 9 out of 10 times on a QB sneak. So. That's why it drives me nuts. I'm not a proponent of packing all these guys in and trying to out-muscle them. Spread them out, create creases and gaps, let your playmakers make plays, but you got to get a hat on a hat. Yep. Otherwise, they're going to get just smoked in the backfield.
Yep, absolutely. So Brent, I see you got your camera on. We did get and I don't know if if you saw this out on warm-ups, but it looks like Tristan Colon is in fact a left guard tonight. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I heard Dan.
We're not able to hear you. There may be too much noise there.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard Dan giving the update on the offensive line. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, Cologne is as logical a choice at this point as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we've analyzed this to the point where it's game time almost, right? Where the Lions have to be able to get those quick hitters.
Yeah.
They've got to spread the field and force the Cowboys out of that 5-man front. When a team is committed to playing a 5-2 and you bring in 4 receivers, I think that's a great recipe that Dan hit on the other day. Spreading the field and forcing them out of what they want to do. It's a matchup within the matchup, and then getting Monty off early and often physically, and then making it so that when Gibbs gets those quick hitters later in the game, that he's able to pop some long runs. I love all the things that we're talking about. What we can expect in the game to happen, and it's I'll give you guys updates on Tuesday's show.
Yeah.
Live, on the reflections of how things went here. The crowd's a buzz. There's not, as people have piled in, there's not as many Cowboys fans as there were previous games.
Interesting.
Opponents fans. There's not. I'm surprised actually.
Well, I think it could be a lot of Lions fans not. I mean, we sell out, but typically when you see a lot of other teams, it's because people are selling their tickets. And I think at this point, there's a lot of people on a primetime game that are Lions season ticket holders that want to be there for that game, or if they're going to sell it, they're going to sell it to somebody that's wearing Honolulu blue. All right, Brent, Dan, we're at time. Everyone, enjoy the game tonight, and as always, go Lions.
Go Lions.
Bust it outside left. Jameer down to 10. Jameer to the 5. Jameer to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Hand off Berry. Surge to the left side. Breaks a tackle. And he will take it in. Touchdown!
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about.